Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video all about the makeup techniques and trends that I avoid. So techniques that I just don't think work for me, but also trends that I used to do because I was watching some of my older videos and some of my old vlogs, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I used to look so silly because I tried to pull off all these trends that never really looked quite right on me, and I wanted to show you guys why these trends don't work for my face. So I'm also going to be demonstrating how bad they look on me as well. So before we get into this, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and it'd be cool too if you guys would come follow me on Instagram, because I'm always on Instagram whenever I'm not here on my channel, making videos, responding to comments, doing all that stuff. You'll always find me on Instagram. So okay, we'll get into the video now. First one I want to talk about is highlighting the entire face with concealer. This is something that I used to consistently do every single time I did my makeup. I just thought it looked so beautiful, so glamorous, so, you know, photoshopped in real life, because this was really one of the bigger trends back when Kim Kardashian used to do it, and it was all over Instagram, and I would just see, you know, everybody highlighting everything with concealer before, or I guess it was like more so after you do your foundation. But I noticed, looking back at some of my older videos and some of my older pictures, I unintentionally, just because I was using so much concealer, my face was always so many shades lighter than my body, and especially like in flash photos, it just never looked flattering. And I look back at some of like my pictures with family and friends, and my face just is like a glowing orb and really harsh contour, and then everything else is just like, what? I don't know why I thought that looked so good. Another big reason why I stopped doing this technique was because I don't have Botox. So whenever I would make expressions or, you know, raise my eyebrows or anything like that, this concealer would migrate into those lines, and then the concealer would stay in those lines and just emphasize any expression that I had made prior to that. So that's really the main reason I quit doing it. But then also I just realized I like a little bit more of a natural looking base, and the concealer all over the entire face was really just doing a little too much for me. And now the only place I really like to highlight with concealer is the bridge of my nose, because I don't think that really disrupts the look of natural skin. So, and you know, if you think about it, if you keep moving your face over and over again, that concealer is just gonna keep getting wedged in those lines, just emphasizing it further. So it was just never, I don't know why I did that, and it doesn't work for me at all. Next one is baking. So I have tried to bake so many times. I mean, I really like wanted this trend to work for me because I like how people look when they bake, but on me it just never works. Again, I don't have Botox, so I found that the powder would still migrate into the expression lines I made, and then I also felt like it kind of emphasized fine lines around my eyes and just made my skin look even more dry and even more chalky. So I just was never that big of a fan. Now I do realize that when you bake your face, you are supposed to take all the steps. Like, you should do a moisturizing mask, you should wear a little bit of extra eye cream and a lot more moisturizer, but that's just not something that I think is practical for me. And I also just don't necessarily like the way I look when I bake my face. I just don't think it's the most flattering thing for my skin type. And it's just, I don't need my makeup to be apocalypse proof, so baking for me is just not the end all be all. I find that I can get my makeup to last just as long as if it were baked if I use a good setting spray and a good primer. So baking, not for me. Okay, so slicing a contour. I think I know of two different ways you can slice a contour. You can either do this with your foundation or concealer, or you can like bake right under your jawbone and slice that contour. Again, I found that this was just like a little bit too aggressive of a makeup look for the way I generally do my makeup. So I found that like with the rest of my makeup, with the outfit that I was wearing, you know, whatever it was, I just felt like you just saw this like slice of a contour, and I can never hit the nail on the head with the slice contour because I just don't think like overall I wear glamorous enough makeup to pull off that sliced line. It just always looked so aggressive on me, but I tried to make it work so hard. But I prefer more of like a, you know, light drape of bronzer. I don't like anything too overly contoured. I like to, you know, chisel out facial features and add a little bit of definition, but I just didn't think that I needed that like aggressive, you know, slice of a contour, because I could just, like I said, I could never pull it off, and it just never worked for me. But I tried so hard to make it work, and it just never, it never looked quite right on me. False eyelashes, so this is a really big one because again, I look at some of my older photos and videos and I'm like, why did you think that those looked good on you? I used to think that, you know, the really fluffy mink lashes and the demi-wispies and all of that, I always thought that that looked so glamorous and just, you know, you just looked so much more put together. But I look back and, oh, sorry guys, there's like a fuzz on my nose and it's driving me insane. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. So I would always look back at photos and videos of myself with these really dramatic lashes on, and it, again, like it just never fully fit. Okay, anyway, yeah, I just felt like the really dramatic false lashes just never like fully fit my face. I have really tiny hooded eyes and I felt like they were always super overwhelming, but you know, back then I thought they looked so good and they were just a little bit too aggressive for my face and my eye shape. So I really like to go for, I think it's the Kiss number 44, the Salon Perfect 110s, or just the little individual cluster lashes. Those are a really great way to add definition and fullness to your eyelashes without having to commit to something that's gonna completely overwhelm your eye. And if I do want to wear something that's a little bit more dramatic, I always cut that lash in half and just put it on the outer corner, because I just don't think I have big enough eyes to pull off something super dramatic like a really full voluminous strip lash. I think they look so beautiful on everyone else, but just on me, again, just felt like I couldn't quite pull it off, couldn't quite hit the nail on the head, couldn't, you know, just make it look as good as everyone else does. So I stay away from them. I also feel like it's, you know, a little bit too much for me for every day. I prefer to wear mascara, and I think you can do just as amazing of results with mascara and get just as amazing of impact with mascara. It's just not a strip lash. So I tend to go for mascara. I rarely wear false lashes anymore, and I don't know, they just never really were quite my vibe, if you know what I mean. Okay, so super beamed up highlights. This is another one that I really tried to make work for myself because, again, like you see it on Instagram and you see a lot of people doing it in their makeup tutorials, and they just really put a ton of highlight, you know, the highlight that you can see from outer space on the tops of their cheekbones and right on the tip of their nose, and tried to make it work. Could never get it to work for me. I felt like I always looked a little bit silly. And you know, when these trends do come out, like I do try to do them, but I always felt like I looked a little stripey. It just didn't fit, again, my vibe. It looked a little bit silly with the rest of the makeup that I do. It's just never been that apparent on my face. I like a little bit more of a highlight that just kind of appears, and it's, you know, nice and subtle and just looks a little bit more natural and a little bit more wearable. So I felt like it also emphasized my nose in a way that I didn't like it. I just didn't like that super shiny silver highlight on my nose. And again, with a drier skin type, I felt like putting that much highlight on my cheekbones just emphasized eczema patches if I was having dermatitis or just any type of dry patch or fine line. And it was just me being like, there, you can see my highlight from space, but you can also see everything else on my skin. So it just never worked for me, and I just didn't think it was practical for my makeup taste, so I avoid that one. Okay, matte nude liquid lipsticks, or just honestly matte nude lips in general, or just honestly liquid lipsticks in general. I feel like this was one of the most unflattering things I could ever do. I would always get the dreaded like butthole monkey butt lips where there's still the liquid lipstick on your actual, you know, lip, but then on the very center you'd get that like bare skin look. I feel like it just emphasized the dryness of my lips. It would emphasize every single fine line I had in my lips, and then I would always get this really gross, like crusty, just nasty looking stuff on the corners of my mouth. But I seriously thought that looked so good. Not the bad things, but I thought like the matte nude liquid lips were everything, and I just thought they looked so good because everybody else was wearing them, and I was like, this is, you know, this is what's in, this is what's cool. And I just don't think I have a face that really flatters matte nude liquid lips. I just think with my skin especially, it's just dulls me out, makes me look a little dead. I get the monkey butthole, and it's just not flattering. So I tend to go for like more glossy, creamy lips, and then you guys even see like a lot of times when I do wear matte liquid lips, I do tend to put like a balm under them or something because it wasn't flattering. I don't know why I thought that that used to look good, but it was just not my vibe. I'm very picky now about liquid lipsticks, and I just don't really wear them in general actually, but there are a few formulas that I'm like, okay, this is passable and I'll like wear it, and I do like it. I think it's really great for reds or bold colors because then they stay put, but just mattes, no. Like, I don't want my lips to look like a butthole, so I regret wearing matte nude liquid lips, and I don't like that trend. I think it'll always probably be pretty popular because everybody loves liquid lipsticks and matte lips, but I just don't like matte nude liquid lips. They never, ever looked good on me, but at a point in time, I thought they looked so good. So those are all the biggest techniques I avoid, the trends I wish I didn't try to do because I never really hit the nail on the head. They always looked a little bit off on me. And I'm not bashing these techniques. I think they're actually really great techniques for different people, and I actually do like the way they look on other people. It's just on myself. And I think that's a great thing about YouTube. You can like watch all these different beauty vloggers and all these different makeup artists, and you can learn about a bunch of different techniques, even though they might not work for you. I still like seeing the way other people do them, but I thought this would just be like a fun video to show you guys some of the techniques and things I used to do in my older videos that I would not do today because they just don't fit the type of style of makeup that I go for at all anymore. So I thought it would just be kind of fun. And you guys can also see like those techniques, although they work really great on other people, for someone like me especially, like just that concealer and that baking powder going into all of my lines and emphasizing wrinkles and things like that, it just doesn't look good. So, you know, it's all about finding techniques that work for you and trying to make different techniques fit your makeup and your face and trying to just overall find what works for you. So I had a lot of fun filming this. I thought it was, you know, a little bit different than a tutorial, so I just wanted to film it for you guys because I thought it was kind of fun. But on that note, I would love to know some of the makeup trends that you guys don't do, or some of the trends that you guys did used to follow that you just don't like anymore, because I think it's kind of funny to like look back at the way everybody used to do their makeup and you're like, why did I ever think that that looked good? But it's just funny to look back on. So please subscribe if you guys didn't earlier, and come follow me on Instagram if you didn't earlier. I will have, well, this wasn't a tutorial, but I will have all the makeup that I was wearing in this video and everything linked in the description box down below for you guys. I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye guys.